It is a story of ordinary people coming together to achieve extraordinary things, of voices rising in unison to demand fairness, respect, and opportunity. And today, as we launch this Congress, we carry that proud legacy with us. I dare say, trade unions are not just institutions. They are lifelines for workers. They give us strength in numbers, amplify our voices, and ensure that no one stands alone in the face of adversity. They fight for better living wages, safer workplaces, and assist in ensuring secure futures for workers. We can safely say they are the guardians of workers' rights and architects of social progress. Of course, we must also acknowledge that the path ahead is not going to be without challenges. In a world where the forces of inequality and exploitation continue to loom large, our mission becomes even more critical. Globalization, technological shifts, and economic uncertainties have created new hurdles for workers everywhere. Yet, these very challenges make our unity and solidarity ever more important. Today, through this Congress, together through this Congress, it is our hope that we will create a platform where our shared struggles are addressed, our victories are celebrated, and our vision for a fairer and more just society is realized. We hope also to advocate for policies that uplift the marginalized, empower the disenfranchised, and protect the most vulnerable among us. Let this Congress be a beacon of hope, a place where workers' voices are not only heard, but respected and acted upon. And I especially want to think of our teachers, because in spite of the fact that they are the ones who really transform education, they are the backbone of education. Many times their voices are ignored. Let it stand as a reminder that when workers organize, we have the power to shape not just our workplaces, but the very fabric of our society. So to every member of this Congress, to every worker who dreams of a better tomorrow, and to every ally who stands with us in solidarity, let us march forward with determination, courage, and unity. Together, we are stronger and more capable of advocating for workers' rights, justice, and fair treatment. Together, we reaffirm our commitment of defending workers' rights, promoting fair labor practices, and fostering solidarity. Together, we can build a future that honors the dignity of work and the humanity of every worker. Let these be our rallying call: solidarity forever. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Moving, for this. It is about social justice, about decent work and solidarity, uplifting the marginalized, giving a voice to the voiceless. We have our General Secretary of DAO, and so the pleasure is mine to invite Sister Elias Leah Shillingford to bring solidarity greetings. Sister Leah.
Good day, everybody. Protocol is established. Brothers and sisters, it is an honor and truly a privilege to deliver this short message on behalf of the Dominica Amalgamated Workers Union. Today marks a truly historic day for our beloved Dominica. For the first time in our nation's history, the DAO joins 3 other unions to form a trade union congress, an achievement that unites us in a shared vision of strength, solidarity, and progress. In 1982, as an employee of the National Bank of Dominica and a member of the Union DAO, Mr. Anthony is discussing the formation of a trade union congress. In 2017, the unions met, and again on April 28, 2022, another step closer towards the formation of the Trade Union Congress. However, presently, and for many years here in Dominica, the unions operated as joint trade unions. However, today ends joint trade unions and a new beginning for the Dominica Trade Union Congress. We have achieved a significant milestone. As joint trade unions in Dominica, we demonstrated successes through strength of unity. However, with the Trade Union Congress, we can now deliver results that would have a lasting impact on the lives of Dominican workers and their families. Therefore, the creation of the Dominica Trade Union Congress is government, employers, and the civil society so that workers are always at the table where decisions are made. Build solidarity among unions. Remove divisions that weaken us and embrace unity that empower us. Economic justice and social protection. Train and educate. Our members so that they can face the challenges of a changing world. A sustainable and inclusive framework for dialogue, ensuring yes, workers' contributions are respected in shaping Dominica's development path. We will continue to address the many outstanding matters that affect the unions and workers in Dominica, including the establishment of the agency fee. This is a very long, outstanding matter. Some employers take advantage of this opportunity to violate the collective bargaining agreement and unilaterally make amendments to the collective bargaining agreement without any discussion with the unions. The Trade Union Congress, in solidarity, will assist in addressing these issues, concerns. With the TUC, we can now re-strategize and restructure the labor union system. This will allow for more actions on May Day. We can now establish the vibrancy of the trade union movement that existed in the past. In closing, brothers and sisters, today we stand united as never before. This Congress is not just the achievement of unions, it is a victory for every worker in Dominica. With unity, we can face any challenge and secure a brighter future for our nation. The DAO has come a long way, and I am happy to have been there over the years to present and to be a part of the team who have made this dream become a momentous occasion a reality. On behalf of the newly formed Congress, I thank you for your support, your solidarity, and your belief in the power of unity, solidarity. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Sister Leah. Yes, it is about strength in unity, about solidarity, about progress, social protection. And as you said, it's a victory for every worker in Dominica. Thank you again. Sisters and brothers, we will now hear from Brother Thomas Later on behalf of the DPSU. Brother Later has been one who's been here calling for this TUC alongside Brother Augustus and others for some decades. That doesn't tell you his age, though. So we have the pleasure of inviting Brother Later to the microphone to prevent self-guidance.
Thank you, Brother Steve, and good morning to everybody. At the head table, I want to recognize the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Gloria Joseph, sitting in for the Honorable Minister for Labor, Mr. Darren Pinard, Dr. Pastor Rodney, we recognize you, Brother Steve Joseph, Chairman Chair of the Steering Committee. We also want to recognize Ambassador Felix Gregoire, Chairman of the Public Service Commission, as well as Mrs. Capitole, Chief Personnel Officer. I want to recognize the the Labor Commissioner, Mr. Paquette, the heads of the various trade unions who are all part of the Trade Union Congress. We want to recognize you as well. Media personnel, special invited guests, delegates, observers, one and all. I also want to recognize Mr. Achille Joseph, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Dominica Employers Federation. And I must say that this historic event, which is taking place today, brings a feeling of great joy and achievement, not only to me personally, but to the Dominica Public Service Union. Upon assuming the position of General Secretary of the Dominica Public Service Union about 3 decades ago, the efforts towards the formation of a trade union congress occupied much of my time and efforts, a commitment which was always and has always been supported by the leadership of the Dominica Public Service Union. Today, as we witness that dream becoming a reality, we are putting behind us all the hindrances or obstacles which we encountered prior to arriving at this stage, and instead to work feverishly towards the adherence of every area in our statement of intent as outlined in the Constitution of the TUC, which states that we need to strengthen, develop, and maintain close relationships among every affiliate and establish a bond of unity between affiliates and of the TUC. The Dominica Public Service Union, in recognizing the challenges being experienced by other affiliates in various forms, and after much discussion with them, we have consented to bear some of the burden of operating the TUC in its infancy or early stage of development. We thank the Almighty God for making this a reality, and we believe that its birth is timely at a time when globally workers' rights are being threatened. Only recently, we saw in what has always been considered as one of the most democratic countries in the world, where the leadership of that country, or the leader of that country, has taken a decision to remove federal workers from union representation. And if we have never dreamt of this, it is a reality that in that particular country, a number of workers of certain areas have been removed from having union representation. Worldwide, hard fought for benefits are being denied. Human rights are being violated. Precarious work is being replaced, or is replacing decent work, sorry. Workers are being threatened with dismissal if they approach trade unions for representation. We see that happening right here in Dominica. Physical presence at work is being replaced by virtual employment without the necessary terms and conditions that should go with that arrangement. The list goes on and on. But in the interest of time, I will end there. The Dominica Public Service Union, friends, fully endorses the Declaration of Labor Rights as outlined in the DTUC Constitution, which speaks of various rights. The right to assemble peacefully and picket. The right to bargain collectively on all matters arising from social and technological changes. The right to strike when the action becomes necessary. The right to provide input on all vital, economic, and social questions affecting workers and to be represented by their unions on all government boards that administer social programs. The right to be trained and retrained at employers' and government's expense. The right to take the necessary measures to protect their safety and health on the job. The right to enjoy leisure through extended vacations and paid holidays. Brother Steve has made mention of the great contribution which we have received from the ILO. I want to join him in showing my appreciation. And brothers and sisters, friends, everyone, in conclusion, I want to state and to emphasize that today is indeed a great day for me personally, for the Dominica Public Service Union, for the trade union movement, and for Dominica in general. Long live the trade union movement. Solidarity forever. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Lita, for this solidarity forever. Certainly, it is a fight for democracy. As Brother Lita indicated, what's happening globally has impact on us locally. And so it is a fight for human rights, for decent work for all our workers, to ensure that trade unions' rights are protected, that people have a right to join a trade union of their choice without discrimination. Let's say thank you to all four speakers again for their solidarity messages. So, sisters, brothers, friends, as you heard me indicated, we were very fortunate to have the assistance of the ILO, and I trust Sister Vera will be joining us soon. But Sister Vera was very, very supportive. But later and I attended a symposium in St. Martin, at which Sister Vera was also making a presentation, and we were able to sit down and determine a path of how to move forward with the establishment of the TUC. And we engaged a consultant that was recommended, and that's Sister Caroline, and delivered, as I said earlier, beyond the call of her remit. We benefited from several other TUCs in the region and as far as Africa in terms of looking at their constitutions. So I do have the pleasure of inviting Sister Vera. Brother Travis, I don't know if you can see if... Oh, yes. Did I do that? Yes, it's still on the program. Now, bear in mind, this is not the glasses I should be wearing. P.S. My apologies. My apologies. P.S. Gloria has been in contact with us, and the Honorable Minister has been in contact with us, as I said earlier, and could not be here. But we are pleased that P.S. of Labour, Mrs. Gloria Joseph, is here instead of the Minister to bring some greetings. And so, sisters and brothers, my apologies again, but join me in welcoming to the microphone P.S. Gloria to make her presentation. Sorry.
So Joseph, it's okay. Okay, distinguished head table, distinguished guests, esteemed trade union leaders, representative, head of the DEF, the CPO who is there today, very important persons who are gathered here, members of the media. Good morning. It is my profound honor on behalf of my minister, the Honorable Darren Pinard, Minister for Labor, Public Service Reform, Social Partnership, Entrepreneurship, and Small Business Development in the acting capacity, to bring you greetings, and that's what it is, really, greetings this morning. This moment represents for you and for all stakeholders a bold step forward in your collective commitment to uphold and advance the rights, the dignity, the welfare of the workers of our beloved nation, Dominica. As I sat listening to the various representatives of the trade unions, some things were very aligned in that they were all, and we here are all representatives of the interest of workers in Dominica, whether as employers or employees or representative bodies. I wish to sincerely apologize for the absence inadvertently of the Honorable Minister, Darren Pinard, who would have loved to be here and who communicated the same to the chairman of the committee, steering committee, as well as Mr. Leighton, his regrets for not being able to escape the commitments that were his this morning. I wish to also convey his sentiments concerning the welfare of workers, the representation of their rights and the preservation of those rights, their dignity and the condition of work, which would influence productivity and contributions to their own welfare, as well as to the economic resilience of Dominica. It is our hope, therefore, that you have, as social partners and workers' representatives, the commitment that you articulated in your constitution to forge that institution, the Trade Union Congress, which will champion the cause of workers with vigor, integrity, and transparency. We, as the Ministry of Labor, stand in solidarity as partners in fostering a fair and inclusive labor environment where both workers and businesses thrive, uphold dignity, and contribute to the nation's growth. Together, for unity and determination, it is our hope that we all can join in building a future where every Dominican's right, whether as workers, as consumers, or generally as citizens, their rights are respected, their voices are heard, and their contributions to nation building are valued. We congratulate you, therefore, on this historic launch of the Dominica Trade Union Congress and pledge our commitments to helping. The Honorable Minister has also conveyed that at the very earliest he will meet with the executive body to discuss and to collaborate on things for your own sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, P.S. Joseph, and certainly convey our thanks to the Honorable Minister, who has personally extended that invitation to meet with the very first executive, and we will take up that invitation. Thank you so much. It is about ensuring that the rights of every worker every customer, every citizen is respected. Thank you. So now we can move to the other item on the agenda, which is to hear a little more about the process and some of the highlights of the Constitution. Today we will not be able to go through every aspect of the Constitution, but that has been shared over the last couple of weeks with all the respective unions who have gone through the details and make the contributions. But we have the pleasure today of inviting our specialist with the ILO, Sister Vera Guseva, to make a presentation at this time.
I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me before I start.
I'm hearing you, but I'm not sure if those in the assembly page.
Okay, yes, so I think that's there might be some action necessary in the room.
We're hearing you loud and clear.
I'm hearing you, but
Now it's an echo.
Okay, yes, I think that's there might be some action necessary. Okay, so I see that everybody can hear me. So again, good morning. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to join you today, even only virtually, for this historic founding Congress of the Dominica Trade Union Congress. Thank you very much for inviting me to deliver brief remarks and overview on the process, as well as a very brief presentation on the proposed DTUC constitution. So indeed, I was active participant only over the last few months, but I know that indeed the idea of trade unions coming together
Sister,
to
one minute.
form a Congress has been a very long one. But I know that over the past months, your unions have come together in dialogue, consultation, and negotiation. And for those of you indeed who were not actively involved in all the steps, let me share that this process, or at least the active current part of it, began when the ILO delegation visited Dominica, and there was a meeting with DTUC, DAO, and WAU. And during those discussions, again, the need for greater unity and the idea of forming a national trade union congress came very strongly to the surface. And from that point, the ILO pledged its support to accompany the unions in the journey. One of the first steps, indeed, was the joint May Day celebrations earlier this year, where you all came together to show the commitment to working collectively. I find it was a very symbolic and practical step in building trust and cooperation. Brother Steve just mentioned it. The momentum continued when we met in St. Martin, where we were invited by the trade unions for a symposium, and Brother Steve and Brother Thomas were there, and we further discussed the emerging interest in establishing a trade union congress, and from that point the vision began to take shape in concrete terms. I also supported the engagement of a consultant, Sister Carol and Jordan, and unfortunately she was not available to join this morning, but she's sending her best regards and her greetings. And her work consisted of, reviewing constitutions from several trade union congresses across the world, and that included Sierra Leone, it included Canada, it included Fiji, so different countries, it included Jamaica from the region, and of course all this was to see what are the good ideas currently that are contemporary and they fit the world of work today. I should also, I think that's mentioned that at that point there was a draft constitution already for the Dominica TUC prepared, so she was reviewing all of the documents and she was the pen holder in drafting the constitution. And this ensured that the draft reflected both global good practices as well as Dominica-specific realities. We organized a few meetings with the committee, with the steering committee for the Congress. We also organized a South-South peer learning exchange with the Sierra Leone Labour Congress. I think this was also a very good opportunity for those of you who were there to hear first-hand experience, these challenges and lessons from another Congress in the Global South, and to reflect on what would work best in the Dominican context. And finally, again, I know that you had a lot of discussions among the unions, inside your unions, in between different unions, meetings, consultations. I know some of them were taking place late nights and weekends, and of course the details were debated there. So all of the steps from our first conversation in March to May Day to working together have us led to today, and it's actually amazing. It's been only 6 months that brought us to being here today. And the constitution you have before you is this product of collaboration and commitment by the 4 founding unions. I think that I have omitted that while initially the meeting was with only 3 trade unions, the DTU indeed joined already the May Day celebration and has been an active participant in the process since then. So now allow me to briefly walk you through the key highlights of the Constitution. Indeed, you have a copy, and as I mentioned, this is an example of a modern contemporary document that you can be proud of. It will be the most up-to-date, I would say the most progressive in the Caribbean for sure. So it consists of a few parts. It starts with the preamble that captures the spirit of the new Congress. It recognizes the central role of working people in national development, the long tradition of union struggle in Dominica, the importance of solidarity facing new challenges from technological change to global uncertainty. Then the Declaration of Labor Rights follows, and the Constitution includes a clear declaration of rights of all workers in Dominica. And these rights, indeed, among these rights are the rights to assemble, to bargain collectively, to strike where disputes cannot be resolved, to participate in decisions that affect their lives, or to be protected at work, to enjoy decent rest and retirement, and to be trained for the future of work. These rights anchor the mission of the DTUC and will guide the advocacy of the Congress. Then, of course, there is a section on aims and objectives, and it underlines that the new Congress, DTUC, is committed to bringing affiliates together to speak with one voice, to influence national policy, to provide a common platform for advocacy, to defend rights, and to strengthen the labor movement through education, training, and alliances locally, regionally, and internationally. Importantly, it respects the autonomy of each affiliate while promoting unity and solidarity. So some of the objectives, there is a whole page, a long list, so indeed they all are equally important, and I really hope that you would have give a good read to it. So of course then it moves to the membership, and all free and democratic trade unions in Dominica are eligible to join if they share these aims and commit to the Constitution. The rules set out a fair process for admission, obligations, and dispute resolution, helping prevent divisions and ensuring that disagreements can be resolved within the family of unions without weakening the movement. Then indeed, we need to mention the structure that is also part of the Constitution, and the DTUC will be guided by a General Congress, which is the supreme authority, meeting every 2 years to decide policy, adopt reports, and elect leadership. Between Congresses, the Executive Council will provide direction, bringing together elected officers and representatives of each affiliate. The Management Committee will handle day-to-day affairs, and this structure ensures both accountability and effective decision-making while giving each union a place and a voice. So why does it matter? because indeed, the Constitution and the process and the creation of the DTUC, because by uniting under one umbrella, the 4 founding unions multiply their strength. Just now, that's what you're doing. A single voice can be ignored, but when the voices come together and speaking together, this carries weight in national policy, in social dialogue, and indeed also, I think it's important to mention the regional and international forums. The DTUC also creates space for shared learning, solidarity in times of challenge, and coordinated action on issues that affect all workers. It is a platform that will protect against fragmentation, help resolve disputes fairly, and promote unity in the service of workers' rights and social justice. Sisters and brothers, the adoption of this constitution is more than a legal step. It is a commitment to stand together, to speak together, and to act together. And indeed, the success of the DTUC will depend not only on the document before you, but on the spirit of solidarity you bring to it in the years ahead. I once again would like to commend you for reaching this important milestone, and I'm wishing that this Congress is the beginning of a stronger, more united labor movement in Dominica. Thank you. Over.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Vera. My mic is taking a little time to come on. I trust you've heard my expression of gratitude. Thank you for being there with us throughout the process, and thank you for bringing some remarks as well as explaining in brief terms what this Constitution is all about. Of course, we have it in soft copy for all delegates who would want to get a more deeper read. Thank you again, Sister Vera. Sisters and brothers, friends, we now have our keynote speaker, and it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Johnny Musabayana, who is the director of the ILO Office for the Caribbean. Mr. Musabayana has dedicated over 3 decades to advancing decent work and social justice across Africa and most recently the Caribbean. Before taking up his current role, he served as the director of the ILO office in Pretoria, supporting Southern African countries, and as a deputy director for the ILO in Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Botswana. With a strong background in labor economics, training, and social dialogue, he has been a consistent advocate for workers' rights and for strengthening the role of employers and governments in tripartism. Today, he continues to lead the ILO's engagement in the Caribbean, promoting policies that foster inclusive growth, decent jobs, and resilient labor institutions. And as you heard me earlier, it was in March that he sowed the seed that 6 months later we are enjoying this very historic occasion. Join me, sisters and brothers, in welcoming Mr. Johnny Musabayana to deliver the keynote. Director.
Just trying to check, Program Director, if everybody in the room can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Thank you very much. It is indeed an honor to join you today, albeit virtually, for which I'm sorry, at this historic moment, the founding Congress of the Dominican Trade Union Congress. Indeed, I remember our mission to your beautiful country in March. And it is there, I remember sitting in a room with the comrades discussing different issues from Dominica Public Service Union, the Dominica Amalgamated Workers Union, the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union. We discussed the challenges of the labor market and the challenges facing the union movement globally and in Dominica. At that moment, there was a sense of division among the union movement. And indeed, we discussed the need for unity going forward. And now, 6 months later, here we are. That energy has been transformed. Complaints have given way to commitment. And the tension has given way to unity. Today you are launching the Dominica Trade Union Congress. This is no small achievement. It is the beginning of a new chapter in the workers' movement in Dominica. This step strengthens workers' representation in the country. It also strengthens your voice in the Caribbean and indeed in the global labor movement. I want to warmly welcome the Dominica Teachers Union for joining this process. Your participation shows that unity is possible. It shows that solidarity can overcome divisions. At the ILO, based on a study conducted a few years ago, we speak about 4 possible scenarios for trade unions going forward. The first is decline, where unions lose relevance and influence. The second is marginalization, where unions survive but remain in the edges of society and policy formulation. The third is dualization, where few unions stay strong while the majority are left behind. The fourth is reinvigoration, where unions reinvent themselves, unite, and become stronger than ever before. What you're doing here today is a clear sign of reinvigoration. You are showing that the trade union movement in Dominica is alive, dynamic, and ready to shape the future. But unity is not only about standing together. It is also about being effective. No single union, no matter how strong, can on its own shape the national agenda. A united Congress gives you a stronger seat at the table of social dialogue. It allows you to speak with one voice in defense of the workers' rights. It makes it possible to influence policy, to negotiate better conditions, and to stand firm against injustice. In this regard, I want to compliment P.S. Joseph, who I listened to addressing you before us today, in her offer for the government to work collaboratively with the union movement. P.S., I thank you, and please pass our appreciation to the Minister and His Excellency the Prime Minister for this gesture of goodwill to the Dominica Trade Union Congress. This is especially important because of the changes that are shaping the world of work. Let me share with you a few trends that we see here in the Caribbean and beyond. The first is climate change. For the Caribbean, this is not just an abstract risk, but indeed an existential risk. It is today's reality. Rising seas, stronger storms, stronger hurricanes, lives and livelihoods disrupted every year. That is why we at the ILO call for a just transition. We must move to greener economies in a way that creates decent jobs, builds new skills, and extends social protection. No one should be left behind. No one country can do it alone. In this regard, regional cooperation is important. I therefore want to compliment Dominica in your role as the lead country in the quasi-cabinet of the CARICOM on labor. We have challenged you, P.S. Joseph, to rise to the occasion, and I'm happy to say you are taking your seat at the table and showing leadership in the labor movement issues in the Caribbean region. The second is technological change. Artificial intelligence, digital platforms, and automation are transforming work as we know it. This brings opportunities, but it also brings risks. Too often, technology fragments work, increases precarity, shifts risks onto workers. We need regulation that keeps pace. We need social protection for all. We need lifelong learning so that workers, especially the youth, can benefit from these technologies instead of being excluded. In this regard, I want to again highlight that the International Labour Conference this year and indeed next year, discussing the development of an instrument on how to manage the platform economy. I want to invite Dominica Trade Union Congress to actively engage in this global debate on how best we manage and protect workers' rights on the platform economy. Thirdly, I want to talk about inequality and social cohesion. Across the world and in this region, inequalities are rising. Young people, especially young women, struggle to find decent jobs. Many workers are in the informal economy, without contracts, without protection, and then indeed without rights. This weakens societies, undermines trust, it fuels instability. And indeed, it also leads to a rise in criminality, which we are seeing throughout the region, the Caribbean region. Trade unions have a duty to recognize these workers and to fight for their rights. And indeed, how best to organize in these sectors that are precarious will probably be the defining moment of how strong the Dominican Trade Union Congress will be in the future. The fourth and final trend I want to highlight is democracy, rights, and multilateralism. Fundamental principles and rights at work are under pressure. In some countries, freedom of association is threatened. Collective bargaining is undermined. Yet these rights are the cornerstone of social justice. They are also essential for peace and democracy. Strong independent unions are not only defenders of workers, they are also defenders of democracy itself. And this is precisely why we must think about the broader framework that protects these rights and ensures that they are meaningful in practice. Around the world, there is a growing call for renewed social contract. The old arrangements are no longer delivering adequate solidarity with workers. Too many are falling through the cracks. The world speaks of a renewed social contract based on decent work, rights, inclusion, and sustainability. Social dialogue and tripartism are at the heart of this vision. Without unions at the table, there can be no new social contract. What then does this mean for the Dominican Trade Union Congress? First, it means recognizing that your unity is your greatest strength. Divided, your unity is limited. United, your voice carries weight in national policy, in regional debates, and in global fora. Secondly, it means looking beyond the workplace, engaging in national discussions on economic policy, on climate adaptation, on digitalization, and social protection. These issues shape the lives of workers as much as wages and working hours do. Thirdly, it means link with the Caribbean Congress of Labor. In fact, I would have liked to see them present here today at your launch. And indeed, globally, also regionally, link also with the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas, TUC, and with the International Global Trade Union Movement through WTF and DTUC. Show solidarity and, in return, claim solidarity. My brothers and sisters, founding a Congress is more than an organizational decision. It is a message to workers that their unions are ready to stand together. It is a message to government employers that workers' voices will be heard, clearly and collectively. It is a message to the region and indeed to the world that the Dominican labor movement is reinvigorated and ready for the future. But this is only the first step. My challenge to you is to make your Congress visible, active, and vocal. Dominica's